Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this is part 3 of our Starwheel Astrology and Healing February 2021 newsletter. In part 2, we looked at the great Jupiter Saturn Pluto conjunction, all three in Vedic Capricorn at this time. But this month, there's actually a total of 6 planets in Vedic Capricorn, alongside the great 3. In fact, if you include the moon, 7 planets. So we need to understand how this will affect our lives and how we can grow spiritually working with this definitely exceptional energy, this huge energy, this complex and changing energy. Please note that the manifestation of several of these planets is actually distorted by the energy of Capricorn, the sign they are transiting. But there's also a distortion of their energy because they pit themselves against each other as well. This gives us a great challenge at this time to perceive the sometimes twisted but occasionally boosted manifestation nature of each planet as it's affected by the other planets in Vedic Capricorn, all of them in February 2021. And I do feel that it's essential for us at this time to perceive what's going on in terms of the energies in our life, in terms of the energies in our consciousness and relationship. And essential for us also to achieve the key task of making a big effort to contact the divine nature of each of the planets as well. As I've said, my favourite way to do this, to contact the divine nature of each planet, is through vision work. We need to contact the divine nature and manifest the divine nature of each planet in our lives now. So what I want to do now is look at, I'm just looking for, there's a wonderful book, I don't know if I can put my hands on it, about the divine nature of each planet, The Astrology of the Seers by David Frawley. No, I can't see it just at the moment. So let's look at the planets and seek to understand how their energy will be distorted or filtered so that we are not receiving the divine face, which each planet is. Each planet is a face of the divine. We, each of us, receive the energy of each planet filtered through sign, house and aspect. That's what we've got to understand. And with this 6 or 7 planet pile-up in Capricorn in February 2021, we have got a big challenge and we will be feeling very confusing changes. So let's look at the Sun first. The Sun actually entered Vedic Capricorn on the 14th of January. Sun starts February at 18 Capricorn and Sun enters Aquarius on the 14th of February. Now when the Sun is in Capricorn, his standing is harmed by Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn. Not only does Saturn harm the manifestation of the Sun also harms the manifestation of the other planets that he transits across in this exceptional pile-up. You see, when a planet is too close to the Sun, the energy manifestation of that planet gets combusted, ruined, weakened, obscured by the somewhat malefic, hot, fiery nature of the Sun. And as a special additional feature, which we will be seeing in February 2021, actually, if a planet is very close to the Sun, it can do well for a brief spot of time because it's in the state known as cazimi, which which occurs when the planet is within 40 minutes of a degree within the Sun. That's worth remembering. It can bring success. Okay, let's look at Mercury. Mercury is transiting Capricorn from the 5th of February onwards, turning retrograde on the 21st of February. Sorry, turning direct on the 1st of February. So this means that we have Mercury retrograde this month. So what happens is Mercury actually turns retrograde on the 31st of January at 2 degrees Aquarius. He turns back, turning back into Capricorn on the 5th of February, coming to his standstill and turning direct on the 21st of February at 16 Capricorn, and re-entering Aquarius on the 11th of March. So expect all the usual Mercury retrograde problems. Now, of course, people vary how prone they are to Mercury retrograde problems. But with my natal Mercury retrograde being conjunct Ketu and acting as Lord of the 12th, please don't upset me by asking me how I find Mercury retrograde problems. So, Mercury turns direct at 16 degrees Capricorn on the 21st of February. And just to say that Mercury's retrograde cycles in 2021 are January the 31st to February the 21st, May the 29th to June the 22nd, September the 27th to October the 23rd. All these dates are in the blog associated with this video, so do have a look at the blog, and the blog also details the shadow periods of each of these 3 Mercury retrograde periods. Okay, Venus. Well, Venus transits Capricorn until the 21st of February, and Venus will be conjunct too many planets for its own well-being. I think you'd have to see the blog to see the complexity of what happens to Venus as it transits through this megastellium. Venus can do very well in Capricorn, which is ruled by Venus's friend Saturn. But Saturn, of course, can also harm Venus and vice versa. So the transit of Venus through Capricorn will not be easy for the manifestation of love and beauty. Please hear that bit. It's so important. Forewarned is forearmed. February the 11th is the most difficult date because Venus is then simultaneously in planetary war with both Jupiter and Mercury together. Now, obviously, these Venus transits are very brief. But it's worth noting their nature and exact date, which are all set out in the associated blog. See my Starwheel Astrology blog. So Venus is conjunct Pluto on the 28th, which can create power struggles and anger in love for Libra and Taurus people especially. Venus is conjunct Saturn on February the 6th, creating potential restriction in expressing love and low self-value issues, again especially for Libra and Taurus people. The energy of Venus conjunct Saturn does seek commitment, but it can bring about a low self-value which can cause terrible relationship problems. Venus is conjunct Jupiter on February the 11th, a feel-good, warm, expansive energy, but can be overindulgent. Venus is conjunct Mercury on February the 13th, but this brief transit can be very good for writing or singing, etc. Venus, of course, at this time receives a 5th house aspect from Rahu, the North Node in Taurus, and the actual centre of that's February the 15th, which is a desirous sexual energy, a strong activator for Venus. So, Venus enters Aquarius on the 21st of February 2021, at which time Sun is at 8 Aquarius, so Venus is combust, Neptune is at 25 Aquarius. Do see not only the blog, but also the charts for February 2021, which are in my starwheelastrology.com website. And it's got its own page for each month of the year. And the charts are all set out. Goodness. Okay, let's look at Jupiter next. This is really important stuff to hear. Jupiter is weak in its debilitation sign of Capricorn from November the 20th, 2020 to April the 5th, 2021. So Jupiter transits from 16 to 22 Capricorn in February. In fact, after Jupiter has entered Aquarius, it then retrogrades back into Capricorn. So it returns to Capricorn on the 14th of September. So for Jupiter ruled signs and nakshatras, this is bad news, or rather a spiritual challenge, if you want to put it like that, and we have to put it like that. So it big time affects Sagittarius and Pisces people, and also people with big emphasis in Punarvasu nakshatra, Vishaka and Purvabhadra nakshatras, which are ruled by Jupiter. So again, as I said, we can do remedial measures, if you like, for Jupiter's period of debilitation, and it can help us to do that. You know, I do vision work. I can put a picture of Brihaspati, the Lord of Jupiter, on the wall, light a candle and dialogue with him. You too can do this, and make sure to be fully embodied, in touch with all parts of your body while you stand before Lord Brihaspati and dialogue and connect and receive his blessings and enlargement and sense of purpose. Saturn transits from 11 to 14 degrees Capricorn in February. Saturn's combustion is from January the 7th to the 9th. And remember, January the 7th to February the 9th. And definitely at this time, we can feel depressed. Watch out for that. Depression is definitely a manifestation of Saturn combustion. And remember that Saturn is square Mars at this time, the great Mars conjunct Uranus in Vedic Aries that I've talked about in the part 2 video for the newsletter. Mars-Uranus is square this great stellium in Capricorn. So this is a definite signature for growling anger and frustration. Okay, Pluto. Pluto transits at 1 degree Capricorn all of February. Pluto remains in Capricorn until January 2040. Saturn is conjunct Pluto in Capricorn until May 2022. How do you think Pluto and Saturn get on with each other? Well, to a lower state of consciousness, us humans will find utter warfare between Saturn and Pluto. Saturn negatively is blocks and restrictions and repressive authority. Pluto is darkness and will pit itself against any restriction. And so, as I've said in the previous video, I certainly like doing journeys to the abyss, based on the Pluto and Persephone myth of the Greeks, based on the Ishtar and Inanna myths of the Babylonians, because basically we have to go into our darkness and our power issues if we are to heal them. And that's the whole meaning of the Persephone and Inanna myths, and we too can do that journey. Now, the last time there was then a configuration like this in Capricorn was around the 5th of February 1962. And what happened then? Well, JFK initiated the Cuba embargo, which eventually culminated in the Cuba Missile Crisis of October the 16th to the 28th, 1962. So I think this shows how energies are pitted together and must be managed with great spiritual wisdom at this time. Oh, and a special note concerning people with a special emphasis in the sign of Cancer. You see, all those 7 planets, 6 plus the moon, are opposite in the sign of Capricorn. So Cancer people must watch out and manage the risk of becoming lost in the turbulent emotions. And they'll probably have to try to manage a difficult emotional time on top of everything else. So you see how difficult February is. You see how necessary it is to study the astrology, the dates, the degrees, and then utilize that knowledge to be able to bring spiritual awareness and to grow spiritually. The new moon occurs on the 11th of February in, guess what sign? 29 degrees Capricorn in Dhanishta Nakshatra. And the moon is conjunct Sun, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn and Pluto. So do, watch out for that new moon. Do look at its astrology on the day, on the 11th of February. Do meditate on how that astounding matrix of energies will interact with your chart, your life, your consciousness. And just to mention that the full moon in February occurs on February the 27th at 14 degrees Leo in Purva Palguni Nakshatra, which is ruled by Venus. So, you can book an astrology reading with me on my starwheelastrology.com website, and do have a look at the considerable range of healing modalities my wife Maggie Pashley offers worldwide. Her website's www.maggiepashley.com. Goodness, what a challenge February 2021 is. But what an opportunity. This is the time to sort issues out. You see, Saturn is now top planet. Until recently, Jupiter was the dominant planet. So Saturn is making us consolidate at this time. And there's no escaping Saturn's demands for the values which he incorporates of consolidation, patience, hard work, endurance, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. This will be a good month if we can navigate the stormy waters, bearing in mind the spiritual imperatives that are being thrust upon us, and bearing in mind the possibly new strategies in life, in relationship or career that will go forward. Do check out what area of life Capricorn is for you. In other words, what house in your Vedic birth chart is Capricorn. So on each of my monthly pages on my Starwheel Astrology website, there's a link to a very good page which gives the meanings, the life areas of each house. To have such an exceptional number of planets in Capricorn will have a big meaning in that area of your life and other areas of course. Thank you.